Behind the door, deep, pulsing, relentless. It wasn't the kind of place Ethan Miller ever imagined standing outside of, not at his age, not with the life he'd built out of early mornings and packed lunches and bedtime stories. And definitely not with his hand shaking as it hovered inches from a polished metal handle. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, the words breaking apart in his mouth as if they didn't want to exist. He wasn't sure who he was apologizing to, himself, fate, or the small person beside him whose fingers were already wrapped around the door. "Daddy?" Lily's voice was soft, curious, trusting in that way that made his chest ache. "Is this the place?" Ethan froze. For one impossible moment, time stopped. The noise from inside blurred into a distant hum. The city lights outside smeared into streaks of color. And all he could see was his daughter, 7 years old, bright-eyed, wearing her favorite yellow jacket, standing at the threshold of a place that represented everything he had tried to keep far away from her world. He swallowed hard. "Lily, maybe we should." But the door was already opening. A rush of sound and light spilled out, warm and overwhelming. Laughter. Music. Movement. A dozen faces turned toward them, surprise flickering across expressions that had been carefree seconds earlier. The doorman blinked, clearly not expecting a child to be the one opening the door. "I'm sorry." Lily blurted out immediately, her voice loud and clear above the music. "I didn't mean to open it all the way." A few people laughed, gently, not unkindly. Someone said, "Hey there," with a smile. But Ethan couldn't move. His heart was pounding so hard he thought it might crack his ribs. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. Just an hour earlier, life had still felt manageable. Ethan had picked Lily up from school, listening to her excitedly describe how she'd gotten a gold star in reading. They'd stopped at the grocery store, argued playfully over cereal choices, and gone home to their small apartment where the walls were thin but the love was thick. He'd started dinner, spaghetti, Lily's favorite, when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. Almost. But something made him answer. "Mr. Miller?" a woman's voice asked, professional but strained. "This is Carla from the community center." Ethan's stomach tightened. "Is Lily okay?" "She's fine," Carla said quickly. "But, there's a situation with your sister." The word sister hit him like a bruise. Maya. He hadn't heard from her in months. Not since the last promise she'd made and broken. Not since he'd told himself, for Lily's sake, that distance was the safest form of love. "She's in trouble," Carla continued. "She asked for you." "Specifically." Ethan closed his eyes. He could see Maya as she used to be, laughing too loud, dreaming too big, swearing she'd figure things out tomorrow. Tomorrow had never quite arrived for her. "Where is she?" he asked. There was a pause. "A club downtown." "She works there." Or, worked. Tonight something went wrong. Ethan looked over at Lily, who was coloring at the kitchen table, humming to herself. He thought of all the times he'd said no. No more rescues. No more late-night phone calls. No more explaining to Lily why Aunt Maya couldn't come to birthdays. "I'll come," he said quietly. The plan had been simple. Too simple. He'd call a neighbor to watch Lily, step in, help Maya get out, and leave. No scenes. No explanations. But the neighbor didn't answer. And Lily, overhearing fragments of the conversation, had looked up with wide eyes. "Aunt Maya?" she'd asked. "Is she okay?" Ethan hesitated too long. "I want to help," Lily had said firmly, the way she did when she'd already decided something. "She's family." Family. That word had undone him. So now here they were, standing in the doorway of a club filled with strangers, Lily clutching his hand, and Ethan's carefully built walls crumbling under the weight of the moment. I'm so sorry, he said again, this time louder, his voice finally finding strength. We're looking for Maya Miller. The name cut through the noise. A woman near the bar stiffened. Another person turned sharply. Then a young man with tired eyes stepped forward. You're Ethan? He asked. Her brother? Ethan nodded, his jaw tight. She's in the back, the man said. Office area. She's not in great shape. Ethan felt Lily's hand squeeze his. I can wait here, she said quickly, sensing the tension. I'll be good. He crouched down to her level, his hands on her shoulders. Lily, sweetheart, I need you to stay right here. Don't move. Okay? She nodded, serious as a promise. Okay, Daddy. Every instinct screamed at him to scoop her up and leave. But he knew if he walked away now, the guilt would follow him forever. He followed the man down a narrow hallway, the music fading with each step. The walls were scuffed, the air quieter, heavier. At the end of the hall was a door slightly ajar. Maya? Ethan called softly. The door opened fully. She was sitting on a couch, her head in her hands. Her makeup was smudged, her shoulders shaking. She looked smaller than he remembered, like the world had finally caught up with her. She looked up. For a second, she didn't recognize him. Then her face crumpled. Ethan, she sobbed. I messed up. I messed everything up. He crossed the room in 3 steps and knelt in front of her. I'm here, he said simply. The words broke something open in her. She collapsed forward, crying into his shoulder, apologizing over and over. He didn't shush her. He didn't lecture. He just held her, the way he used to when they were kids hiding from storms under the bed. I didn't know who else to call, she whispered. I tried to fix things. I really did. I know, he said, though he wasn't sure it was true. But he wanted it to be. A manager explained the situation, missed shifts, an argument, a final warning that had turned into a door closing. Nothing dangerous, just final. Maya would need a place to stay. Time to figure things out. Ethan listened, nodding, his mind racing. He thought of his small apartment. His tight budget. His routines. Then he thought of Lily. He thought of her opening the club door without fear, apologizing not for being in the wrong place, but for possibly inconveniencing others. He thought of how she believed family meant showing up, even when it was hard. I'll take her, he said. Maya looked up at him, eyes wide. You don't have to. I know, he said gently. But I will. When they walked back into the main room, Lily was exactly where he'd left her, sitting on a bench, swinging her feet. When she saw Maya, she jumped up. Aunt Maya, she exclaimed, running over and hugging her without hesitation. Maya froze, then slowly wrapped her arms around Lily, tears spilling again. I'm sorry, Maya said, her voice breaking. I'm so sorry. It's okay, Lily said, patting her back the way Ethan sometimes did when Lily cried. My daddy says people make mistakes. Then we help them. Ethan turned away, his eyes burning. The walk home was quiet. Maya sat in the back seat, staring out the window. Lily hummed softly. Ethan drove, replaying the night in his mind, the fear, the embarrassment, the unexpected kindness of strangers. At a red light, Lily leaned forward between the seats. Daddy? Yes, sweetheart. Are you mad at Aunt Maya? He thought carefully before answering. No. I'm not mad. I was scared. But I'm proud of her for asking for help. Maya's shoulders shook silently. That night, after Lily was tucked into bed, Maya stood in the small kitchen, twisting her hands. I don't deserve this, she said. You've built a good life. I don't want to ruin it. Ethan looked around the apartment, the